además de otros latitudes y otros conferenciantes, arquitectos, colaboradores de la misma disciplina que podemos terminar conocimientos y experiencias vividas. Así que de nuevo, Ciudad de Arquitectura, tenemos esta y hay unas cuantas más que todavía nos faltan terminar el mes, así que van a hacer mirar los afiches, nos miran muchas veces, bastante experiencia en todos los días. Así que bienvenidos todos. Dejo a María Mercedes Martínez a hablar un poco sobre la biografía de nuestro invitado. Dicen que es la primera vez que dan una charla y que están un poco ansiosos con así que hagámoslo sentir en casa. Hagámoslo sentir en casa, un fuerte abrazo.
Thank you very much. So, to make the conference meet, I hope it's okay with everybody. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting us here to have this opportunity to visit your university, which looks really nice, and this amazing island. We had a bit of time to see some very nice spots in the island. So, we are here today to talk about how new realities and changes can affect and transform the development in the cities. So, our example today will be the cities in Cyprus, where we are coming from. We are very familiar and we've been through a lot of changes and we needed to adjust ourselves as architects in the cities. So, let me first of all introduce Cyprus. I suppose most of you, they don't know what Cyprus is, correct? But don't worry, I depends on you when I met you. You didn't have it too. So, Cyprus is a country island over there in the Mediterranean. It's located between three continents, which is Europe, Asia, and Africa. So with a location very important between the Middle East and Europe. I was very surprised to realize that Cyprus and Puerto Rico have a lot in common. They are both islands, of course, Paradisian islands, let's say, but they have exactly the same size. So we are coming from, we have a lot in common in that sense. Something that we have different is the population. So imagine an island like Puerto Rico having 1/3 of the population living on it. So that changed a lot the scale and the density of the cities. It's another few more words about Cyprus. Cyprus, due to the strategic location, it was always occupied, always. For the first time, it got independent in 1960. A few years later, the Turkish invaded the island, and they established a community at the north part, taking 36% of the island, and the Greek Cypriots, the 59%. So we also have this buffer zone in the middle of the island, which we call the Green Line, that is being protected by the United Nations. So what has been changed in Cyprus, one of the biggest change we had the last decade was the fact that we entered the European Union. A bigger union, we needed to change a lot in our regulations, in our standards to meet the European standards. That helped a lot the cities to develop their infrastructure, their urban places, the pavements, new streets. A lot of funding came from the European Union that totally changed the city's aspect. So, Nicosia is the only divided capital in the world. It's in the middle of the island, and Cyprus entered the European Union as a divided country. What we saw as change due to the fact that we were now part of Europe was that we had a lot of investment, a lot of new foreigners coming to Cyprus to have their base in order to have their campaigns in a European country, and a lot of funds that they helped the cities and they changed the cities. But in Cyprus, mainly the construction, 70% of the construction is residence. So it's individual villas. So we decided to start this presentation by presenting you one of our first house that we built. So EKKY, as Merce said, is a Lina and Tenzo Yamasika. This is our studio in Nicosia. So
we want to present you as a first project, the Lamp House, which is an urban house in the middle of Nicosia. And it's, as you can see, the surrounding is the typical houses that you can find in most of the cities in the places in Cyprus, like with the tile roof, pink colors, and of course we have also a project with a totally different approach, which is much more modern architecture and minimal. Each project, the way we design it for us is very important, the concept, the way we emphasize on the project, and the way we develop the project. We usually always develop the project through simple diagrams that I'm going to show you now. For example, most of the projects try to define them in simple ways, simple diagrams. For example, you have on the first diagram the way we divide the space, which is through the zones. We have the service zone on the front and the living space on the other back. And always what we try to achieve in our project is to have strong communication, strong link between the inside and the outside. How the project can be projected to the outside, and how we can bring the nature in the inside of the building. And how you can create secondary spaces, secondary views, and having a simple also layout of the project that you can see on this one on the first floor. Usually our projects are developed with, in that case, for example, it's very important the way we oriented the projects. In that case, for example, we had the first floor of the house towards the north of the plot in order to bring more light and natural translation in the art of the building. And our approach usually, we try to create this aspect which is more enclosed towards the outside, privacy, playing with simple materials, simple treatments, simple volume, simple details, but having much more surprise when you experience the space from the outside. As you can see, you have the space turning, the volume of turning around, and we also always try to add extra spaces and simple treatment, like for example, the pergola on the outside that habitate a garden on the first floor. But when you go to the inside, you have much more openness, much more link between the inside and the outside. You create this relation always with the view with the outside. And the way we use materials is very important. We try to use natural materials and in a simple way, but always be subtle in the choice of materials and also not to overdo it. For example, in that case, you have a feature which is the stone wall where you have a barbecue area, the TV area, you have a bar, and it's linking you between the inside and the outside, and some treatment of the facade on the outside. But most important is the sequences of the project. So you have zones, sitting zones, going down, you can have an external zone, going down, you have the garden area. Another view for the project, where you have, even if it's a small plot, usually the size of the plots in the cities are around 600 square meters. So the target is how to make it bigger, even when you don't have so much spaces. So we always try to have also external spaces, covered area, because of course in Cyprus, it's like Puerto Rico. 8 months of the year you can live outside. So for us, it's very important this approach and this relationship between the inside and the outside, because the space in that case is double use. So another view of the covered veranda.
So as you can see here, the relation between the indoor space and the outdoor space are always, we focus a lot on connecting the indoor with the outdoor. So to make the space bigger, to use it, as we said, the weather is amazing, so you can be indoor, outdoor at the same time, and to lose these boundaries, to blur the boundaries between the indoor space and the outdoor space. On the first floor, okay, so typical plans for a bedroom. What is important here is we have a very big double space, and we try always to give some extra value to add something more to the project than just to resolve the program, the needs of the client. So to resolve the needs of the client and just make it work, it's one thing. To add something more on top of it is what we are looking for.
For example, in this case, we wanted to add extra value in the house to create an element of surprise. So as we've shown you from the outside, we've shown you the pergola, we added an internal garden, which for us creates this element that you don't feel it from the outside, and it's a way to bring the nature in the heart of the building. But when you get inside of the house, you have this garden that is linked to the double height space. So you have this strong relation with the inside and the outside, and then at the same time toward the outside with the garden. And this view is showing exactly this feeling where you have the light coming in the heart of the building. You have the wall we've shown you before, linking you to the inside and the outside. And mostly this for us we call it during the day it's bringing very interesting light, and during the night it's like a green aquarium because you have some light inside, and it's like a screen in the heart of the building, in the heart of the living space, which is very interesting.
Let's see, we always try to bring the nature in the house and to have more views towards the outside. So small gardens with windows that they frame the view, this big connection with the garden, another window towards the green area that is next to the house, the vertical garden, let's say, on the first floor. So that makes the space look bigger, and we believe it adds something more in the building.
Most important is this feeling also is to play with the light. So when you are during the day, you have this view to the garden, and also you have this strong feeling of light in the heart of the building. And we are very settled with, we are very careful also with the choice of materials. So for example, in that case, the fairface concrete, the parquet, but also all detail matters. So we design all the furniture, the kitchen, every single item we try to grow it in order to have this full control of the project. Another view showing the strong link between the inside and the outside. Another view that was showing before. Another view to the future. And most important for us is the details, where you have, again, as we said before, simple materials, not too many materials, but when we show it, it has to be as a focus point in the project. And this is the view we showed you before, where you have the office space with the private garden at the back, the window linking to the staircase.
Also, I believe that it's actually more difficult to make something that looks simple than something that looks complicated. So details is everything in order to achieve something that looks clean and actually have this simplicity in volumes. So what also happened due to the fact that we were now a European country was that the universities in the island, they've been now recognized with degrees of the European universities. So a lot of students came in Cyprus to study. More and more are coming. Now we have more than 40 higher education institutions. And that brought a big demand and change the market in terms of the new student halls. So we see student halls under construction, more and more buildings due to the fact that a lot of students are coming to study. One of the projects we're going to present is actually one of our first projects. We designed it in 2009, so 1 year after we started our studio. It's the student hub. This is a student residence. They are now under construction. After so many years now they're getting built. This is a 3D view.
Actually, we've been part of a private competition, and well, that we won. Basically, the way we approach this project, the concept of this project was the main link and the strong. It was very important for us. So when we started this competition, we first questioned the plot, the existing condition of the context, and we were wondering what could be ideally a student residence. So we were thinking that maybe the best solution was to probably use the full, because it was quite compact plot, use the full plot as such, and add and build yard in the heart of the building. Again, because we are in Cyprus, you can take advantage of the outside, and shaping this project by in the southwest facade, drop it down and raise the north facade up toward another floor in order to bring more light and ventilation in the heart of the building. And we also decided at the same time to add extra feature, to create a kind of network in the building, to give extra value that were not even part of the original program. So we decided to create in the building where we had extra spaces an external amphitheater that where students could gather to have theater, movie projection, parties, anything that could be create a social network in the building. Because of course, being a student, as you know, is about being together. So we saw that add this extra value was probably a very interesting approach of the project. It wasn't only resolving square meters and adding studios, it was also giving extra quality and extra feature in the project. On the top of it, around this yard, we decided again, because of the weather, to have the external circulation that will allow again, will link all the space together where the students could go directly out of the studio and walk around and gather in the different spaces.
So we tried to create like a community inside the building. So each one will walk in his room, but it feels like he is walking in a private space, and the interaction between the students to be very, to enhance the interaction between them. With the main yard in the middle and the amphitheater, we give extra use and extra spaces for them to gather, because as you know, the students halls, normally the rooms are quite small. So you need to be out, to be with friends, maybe sit outside and study, have a coffee, outdoor space as much as the indoor space. So this is a building.
All the ground floor is also extra facilities for the students, which is cafeteria, gym, entrance, and they all glazed in the ground floor, so that's giving a strong link between the garden, the internal garden, and the street view. Also, the materiality of the project was very important for us. Again, we used two types of concrete, surface concrete, white concrete surface slab for all the horizontal elements, and concrete plant concrete with another type of aggregate that give this darker color. As you can see here, you have the central amphitheater that is creating a new facade in the streets.
So the facade also for maintenance, because due to the use of the building, the outdoor is very simple and very, let's say, strict. And we wanted to give this to differentiate the indoor facade from the outdoor facade. So we kept the outdoor only concrete, two different colors. And then when you enter the building, the yard, the middle, the colors are totally different. The approach is more warm, and it feels more like a private paradise for the students to use.
So for us, this view is very interesting and very important because it's showing exactly what we've been trying to focus on the top of the project of the course, is those extra values, extra features, external spaces, extra quality that we always add in the projects, which we believe give much more interest in the project. So you have the yards, you have this external corridor linking the project, you have this external amphitheater that you can feel underneath, and you have the roof garden where people can walk and use the top of the external amphitheater to sit together. This is another view showing again this feeling of the space with the yards, with the amphitheater. We also playing with the colors that Elena explained. We wanted to have this citrus yellow color in the inside, the vibrant colors, to contrast with the inside, and to add even more emphasis in the center of the project. And also we played with some graphics with the numbers of the bedroom for each floor.
So this is a night view also showing the roof of the project. So the whole project is accessible starting from the ground floor. Slowly you can walk and go to the roof and actually use the roof as a garden / amphitheater sitting area where you can for outdoor
gathering.
Yes.
So, of course, the most important for us is the way also on the top of it we draw in the project, the way to build it. We also focus on being very efficient. So the way we draw the project, we started with a typical studio, which is not very big, it's around 25 square meters. You enter with a service zone on each studio, which comprises the kitchen, bathrooms, and after you enter, we have the studio as such. And the way we draw it, basically, we put one typology of studio next to each other. Again, all articulated around the external circulation. You have the central yard in the middle, and as you can see, the central yard in proportion with the rest of the building is quite big. So the fact that we push as much as possible the building to the boundary, although it has to have a bigger space in the middle, in the heart of the building. And by simply removing studios on each floor, we added extra features. For example, there we removed 3 studios on the first floor, which was the beginning of the amphitheater that is starting to grow up. On the second floor, we removed totally the studios here, which we're creating the roof garden, and you land on the other side of the second floor, where you can go around. The third floor, again, where you go on the top of the amphitheater, and on the fourth floor that we don't have, which is the last part of the project.
So this is the section, as you can see, the proportions of the garden with the volume of the building, and how we could bring the light and the ventilation in the project. So the concept is mainly creating this heart in the middle of the space as a private space for the students to use. So this is a building now, after so many years, now it's getting built, under construction.
We just finished the concrete work, basically, the structure of the building. So you see you have two types of concrete. So the white concrete, clear concrete for the slabs, and the plant concrete surface, which is more dark gray. So even by using one material but making some different adjustment on it, you can create lots of textures, feeling, and the colors. This is the other view from the street when you already have the roof. You have the slope bringing you to the top of the building, and you can feel the heart of the building on both sides here. And this is the main facade. You already can have the slope here. The amphitheater will come in a bit. And you have, as we explained you, this transparency between on the ground floor where you have all the uses, and it's linking you visually to the heart of the building.
So, this is the second biggest city of Cyprus, many years ago, of course. Limassol. This is Limassol today. So, this city is where the biggest changes we've seen the last decade. It's the financial center, is where most of the investments are happening at the moment. With all the funds, they already refurbish all the coast. And slowly, we see the city change. Now the new urban rules, they are more flexible with the floors and the height of the buildings. When that happened, slowly, in the last probably 10 years, we see a lot of high-rise building appearing and changing the whole skyline of the city. And now actually, I think there are 30 or 40 more waiting to start construction. So we had the opportunity to study one high-rise building.
Actually, it's really very high.
Well, yes, 3 high-rise buildings in one project. This project, as you can see, it's up to 46 floors. The one we designed was around 25 floors. Yes. So, those are the 3 towers in Limassol. It's next to the marina, the new marina of the city that they just built it. And it's very close, in a close proximity from the sea.
The biggest challenge was how to implant, because the program was very specific. They wanted 3 towers. And the biggest challenge for us, was how to implant it in the plot and to have as much as possible of views toward the sea. Because of course, always, you know that, you always, if you live next to the sea, you always want to have a view to the sea. So our main approach was to use geometry approach. We decided to divide the plot with 3 equal distance axes, and we shifted, we rotated it in the plot in order along this axis to implant the 3 towers, allowing us to have as much as views, hopefully, to the sea, because you could use the in-between views between the towers to watch the sea. So you can see here, you have this 3 tower, the plot is doing this direction, but we try even by having this implantation to allow as much as possible of views to the sea, to the Limassol Marina, and to the coast.
Basically, the plot was very narrow, so having 3 very big volumes in it was a bit of a challenge. So we managed with this way to have the towers looking towards the sea. It was very important to keep the size as small as possible in order to have this void between the buildings and use that to have the view. So the efficiency starts always from the main core. So we design the main core with the minimum, the requirements, but the minimum of the space, and we added the apartments in the two sides of the building, creating by changing the typology of the apartment, the volume and the shape of the tower. It's also, this project was basically going to be built in two phases. So we needed to find a way to design it, but to think how it could be done in two different phases. So we created the three buildings with a common podium, with a common base.
Podium.
That accommodates the parking and
Services, extra
the
services.
services and create a central square and an outdoor area. That could easily be added in the second phase of the project.
So it was allowing us also to have, even from phase A, parkings that in phase B could also have other parking and be linked together. So you have these three arms all together linking the project. In parallel also, we wanted to create how to connect visually this building, not only through the podium and the central square, but also through a park. And
We decided, even in this case, we believe that the outdoor space and the common area is very important. So the rest of the plot, we created a park, paths, different levels. Slowly you can walk around the building to take your dog for a walk or to take the kids for a walk. We created a play area at the bottom. Slowly you can walk towards the deck area, and then at the top part, the swimming pool area. And we created this square with this again heart in the middle of the building, which could be a point where people can meet, use as a common outdoor area. This is the view of the city
and the
buildings, towers.
you can see the in-between space allowing us the view in between the towers into our marina, which is actually the new marina of Limassol.
So, we also design and try to approach this project like we approach a house. So the qualities in the space and the common areas, we wanted to feel like as it was a villa or a luxury house. So we also decided to extend the ground floor in order to have this aspect of lower volumes and not to see immediately a huge 25-story building.
We wanted to create a kind of interiority to the project and more human scale to the project.
At least on the ground floor when you arrive at the project. Also, this is a square in the middle. We tried also to add green in the building. So the facade in the middle where the core is, we created a vertical green garden. And as you can see, in some points of the building where they can actually access to take care, we added some planters to have more green in the apartments. The facade is very, the composition of the facade is quite strict. Let's say it has a body that we repeat. It's aluminum facade with some louvers that they give shape, but they also create more interesting elevation of the building. So this is the plan. As we said before, the core was very important. 2 staircases, 2 lifts, 2 points for all the installations to move in the building, and as less as corridor as possible to enter the 2 sides of the towers. Yes.
And mainly also what we wanted to add is always extra around that project of the building, the inside to the outside, to always, even in each view, you have to have external garden area, and creating also this possibility to have a simple layout with always the living space toward the views, toward the outside, projected to the outside, and having the bedrooms more in the center, allowing corner and present ventilation, double view, at least 3 views sometimes, and having a very simple connection in the project when you have the circulation in the middle where you don't have light, basically, you have less light. So 70% of the towers are composed with 3-bedroom flat and 2-bedroom flats. So basically, as we explained before, you have this central core, and we have on each side a typical layout of the typical 3-bedroom flats. And basically, by changing on each floor the layout and having, it can be composed with 2-bedroom flat, 2 studios. Sometimes it can be on one side the 3-bedroom flats and 1 studio and 2 bedroom. So it's giving this flexibility also when you build it by keeping a certain regularity to create this complexity in the facades. So this is the view, for example, for each floor we always try to get projected to the outside and to treat the facade, the external garden with external garden, with vertical green walls. Another view that is showing this strong link and connection between the outside and the outside.
Also in this facade, to add a bit of extra element, as Bruno says, between some louvers. The facade itself is giving a geometry, framing the view towards the sea. This is the duplex, actually, is the last floor. We also draw the whole project, so we drew all the details, the interior, the facade, the common area. We try to give a complete project to the client. So this is another project that we're going to present. This is a business center. As you saw up to now, we presented private residence towers, 25 to 30 floors, and now a business center. Here the demand of the client was it's actually a plot where the front part is commercial and the back part is residential. This area is quite dense, at least between the surrounding of the plot. As you can see, it's very, very narrow, the plot.
When we started the project, you had this plot which had, as I said, was quite narrow and was linking to streets. And we realized that when we saw it for the first time, it was surrounded by quite low houses, 1 floor, 2 floors. And when we started to draw it and we designed it, actually, we had to give an answer to answer the program. But when we draw the apartment block, we realized that it was extremely dense, and we barely had some space between the two apartment blocks.
So yes, we tried to add some gardens between the blocks, but we thought, the people living in one block, having the veranda looking into the veranda of the neighbor, adding in an area that is already dense, huge block of residential in a very narrow plot. So we thought let's try and explain to the client and propose something else. So the need of the area, the need of the city at that point was more, they needed over there a park, a green area, an outer space, rather than huge block of residential.
What we try to do, we try to convince the clients, and at the same time, after that number, trying to convince the mayor, actually, the authorities. We decided, we proposed them to increase, of course there is always interest behind it, don't take me wrong, to increase the commercial building, to increase the numbers of floors, to increase the size of the building, but in exchange to give urban park to the surrounding, allowing a connection between the two residences on the left and right, and instead of separating and splitting the surrounding, trying to unify it. So for us, it's a good example also what can be the work of an architect, sometimes to propose other solutions that give extra value and extra quality to the cities. And sometimes it's very important to always keep in your mind that we are shaping our cities actually. And it's sometimes important to take risks and propose alternative solutions in order to give extra quality for the people who are living and experiencing the cities. Also, in that case, what we propose, because in Cyprus it's a bit like Puerto Rico actually, people are using lots of cars. I mean, you have an average of 2-3 cars per family, but you lack lots of parking, public parkings. So what we propose is under this park is to create public parking to the cities. So what we try to convince there, and what we try to do is convince the authority to allow us to have a bigger building, more square meters, and bigger area. But in exchange, we give them urban space, a urban park to the city. And it allows us to connect also the park and to get under the building. Basically, we try to bring this park under the building around the yard, which are the central yard instead of the office building, and linking the two spaces.
So we also added public parking, which is always an issue in the cities. But we try to shape the park and cover the parking. So even when you are in the park working, you cannot see the 130 parking spots below.
And it's the way we did it actually, we used the existing topography of the project. So we had this, in the red line is the existing topography, what we just did, we built on the top of it, and we just raised the park above the parking, so it's helping us to make that the parking disappears. So this view is helping a lot, as you can see, to have now this urban park linking you to the building, where you can get underneath the central yard and the central space. And under this space, you have the parkings, but you don't feel it at all.
So this is the main facade of the office space, in the ground floor, you have the commercial shops, and from the first floor above is the offices. Still in this building, we try to have external areas, like at the third floor, you have covered veranda. At the fourth floor, where are the restaurant, again you have very big open outdoor space. So that people also can gather, have a break, and have some extra spaces to use.
And basically all the volume of the building is again articulated around the central yard that you don't see, but it's behind the volume. And the ground floor is like 3 volumes of commercial area articulated around these yards. And even all of this building, they don't have this depth that characterizes many times the office building, which is quite shade, lots of shade in the heart of the building. In that case, we have this central yard, which allows us to have this transparency, this crossing ventilation for the office spaces, and to have the feeling of the park from the back, where you're bringing to the city, linking you to the heart of the building.
So this is actually connecting the park with the commercial so we also wanted to present to conclude with the villa again.
5 villas.
This is a development. It's not for an individual. It's for development. And the purpose is actually foreigners that they want to invest and have some houses by the sea. So the demand for these villas were high quality materials, cladding.
Luxurious houses, high-rank houses.
So this is the Allusion villas in Limassol again. We also give attention and research of what materials we're going to use. This is the typical stone of the area that we use, and it's kind of merging with the surrounding.
So the way we approach this project, we decided to work on 1 villa, and basically this is the one plot, one of the 5 plots. This is the view to the sea, and basically we decided to implant a series of stone wall, heavy wall, slicing the space and giving the strong orientation between the back street and the view to the sea. And we accommodate between those spaces external spaces. So basically this project, we draw it from the outside, linking you to the inside. So we had it covered veranda, external garden, pool area, deck area, side garden, front garden. And basically the leftover space between those walls and those garden is the living space of the house as such. And the way the functionality is, it's a simple, very simple treatment where you have a function next to each other, giving you this strong link between the inside and the outside. And always trying to have secondary garden, secondary views. So create again an element of surprise in the project.
So this is the street view. You see clearly these walls. That was the main concept of the design. And in between the walls, the actual building.
Again, this is an external view. So as you can see, we had on the outside it was more enclosed, more private. We don't give everything at the beginning. We try to create some element of surprise in the project. And once you are in the private garden, this is more about openness, transparency, creating different zones, and we pay lots of attention of sequences. So you have for each function a sequence, a zone. We play with the topography of the project and the materiality at the same time to create this connection between all the spaces. In terms of layout, it's quite simple actually, as we explained it before. But we wanted to keep this heaviness, this feeling of walls slicing the space, the stone walls in the project. And we decided to accommodate function inside those walls, where you have, for example, cavity, where you have the kitchen, chimney area, and the bar outside, external barbecue, and having always this feeling of those walls slicing the space and going inside, outside, and linking the project together. So, for example, there we have this very strong connection between the inside and the outside. You get there, you enter in the house. This is a yard bringing light in the basement. You have this living space fully glazed toward the outside, toward the view. And next to it the kitchen. And you go up and you enter on the first floor, which is simply between, again, two walls, all the bedroom toward the views and all the service zone at the back. So it's very efficient layout, because you barely have some corridors in the project.
So in this project you have seen this focus on the connections and giving extra uses to the outside, to the outdoor area. So the kitchen is extended to the sitting area at the top there. The living area again to the outdoor space. You have an extra area, a few steps, which is the deck area, and then the garden. And this is the living area, the entrance of the house. So this is the door which you have a bridge going. You have these two double glaze that connects with the yard, the front yard, and the main yard of the back. And this green wall, which is another kind of yard and outdoor space that brings light and qualities in the house. So this is the kitchen extended with the view towards the sea.
So this is the very interesting, very important view. This project basically is all about the sea. It's all about horizontality. It's all about this transparency linking you to the sea, and having these in-between spaces with very simple materials. We've been very careful in the choice of materials again on this project, and we try to use traditional materials but in a modern way. So as we explained before, you have marble on the floor, you have stone walls, you have the woods, but with simple line and more modern characteristics. This is the view as we explained before of the basement with the yards, and again bringing the green inside in the heart of the building.
We also try to the design we do to last through the year. So not to be something that today you look and you say it's nice, and a few years after you're gonna see it say no, it's not. So materials is important, the simplicity also, and the approach, and to have a strong concept that works and a plan that really works is very important to achieve.
Thank you.
This is a section, as you can see, the garden and the basement where the entrance is.
Bringing light and bringing consolidation to the building, and this project, as I explained before, is all about transparency, all about this link between the inside and the outside. And basically after, it's just how we implemented the project and we played with the topography to go down slowly to what we see. So this is the master plan. And basically, by using this approach of, because as you can see, we have 5 plots which are totally different shapes, which was already grown actually, so we had to accommodate the villas in each plot. And using this way of slicing, let's say, and implanting these walls helped a lot to design the rest of the house, because we had this, we just had to install these walls and creating space in between to grow each house, and each one of them are different characteristics, different logic. For example, because this space is more elongated, the house also is more elongated. This one is more vertical, so the house is more developed over the top. So each one of them have different quality, but they have a common language. So that you can see from now. This you have the series of walls, so it's quite, sometimes even the house you have the thing that disappears. And that's it.
Taxi. What we are trying here is, as you see, we presented different scale projects. Some of them they were drawn in 2010. They are now getting built. Cyprus now is developing a lot, but we had a big crisis.
Basically, what happened is
in 2000.
it's very important for you. We wanted to share with you also our experience as we believe still young architects. Basically, when we moved in Cyprus in 2009 from London, because of it was just after the crisis in 2008 and after the Lehman Brothers, and we decided to move from London because the condition as being an architect in London started to be quite difficult, and we took this opportunity where the economy was still strong in Cyprus to move in Cyprus. In 2012, actually, a big financial crisis hit Cyprus, and from one day to another, we lost like 80% of the project stopped radically in Cyprus. 80% of the investment stopped in Cyprus, and the construction. So for us, it's very important also to this experience we've been through, because basically the work of an architect is always linked with the existing economical condition of the country. But for us, most important, it doesn't matter the size of the project, the budget of the project, the scale of the project, or the program of the project. We always try to keep in all of our projects to bring extra value, extra interest, extra elements that give extra potential to each project. So that's why we'll be presenting this project. We believe characterize our work.
So yes, the changes, they can affect a lot the condition and the demand in architecture in the cities. But for the smaller scale to the bigger scale, what is important is always to try to add, to do something more, to give an opinion, to give something that you believe will be better for the project. In the solution you're going to propose.
That's it. Thank you very much.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge in forming your firm and growing your firm as
I believe this is a very interesting question, because this is what we've been facing the last 3 years. 3 years ago we were only me and Elena, and now we are 15 people in our office. So this is exactly what we've been learning and adjusting on everyday life, especially now. So the biggest challenge basically is to adjust with and also where we are now working is a studio. So what we want is also every people in the project are part of the team, and we want to create this energy around the project. So for example, we do presentation, and we try to do presentation of the project every so often. We try to share the passion we have for architecture, and we always try to keep a strong concept in each project.
We are young, all of the whole office. We are 15 young architects, young.
I'm the oldest.
I'm one of the youngest. What we are saying is from one day to another, it could happen. You could have a huge crisis. You could have a studio going very well, and the next day you might have to face the new realities and the challenges that the change can bring.
To answer your question is the difficulty when it is to renew ourselves. So this is, I believe, the hardest part is how to bring interest in the project, how to question the project, and also to listen to the people also. Because sometimes it's very easy as an architect to use some ways of designing. There is always tricks you can use and repeat if you are good enough. But the difficulty is not always doing the same. And this is what we always try to do in our projects. We always try to approach it in a different way. Through materials, through orientations, through implementations, through programs. This is what we believe characterizes us. Of course, as we've been telling a lot during the project, we have a strong link. We always try to have a strong link with the green, with the outside, bringing nature in our project. It can be a bigger scale to a smaller scale building. We always have this strong link, which we believe is very important for us. And as we've shown you before, you had a view of our studio. Our studio, the way we design it, is full of green plants inside. And it's very interesting to work in the studio because even if you have people in front of each other, we have this green around us, and we believe it adds lots of extra value in the project.
En español. So thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.